So Luis Delucio, Patricia Dalmasi, we started with this project of remodeling our house like 2 years ago. And it was a concept at the beginning, and little by little we started having more ideas, and then my husband contacted an architect so that he could incorporate our ideas. The reason we wanted to remodel the house was because after 20 years and our kids being already in their apartments, working in their 20s out of the house, we wanted to have a new house.
And we actually thought of moving, but we then decided we love the area here in Bethesda. We love the house. We raised our family in this house. We actually bought it 20 years ago and built it out 20 years ago. And the same architect that did it for us had done work with FineCraft, had done work with George. They had done at least 2 houses together. So Fernando Zúñiga, the architect, recommended FineCraft. We saw the work they had done. We loved the work he had done. So we embarked on a project, as the architect called it, is to decutify the house, to make it a modern, clean, open space house. We always wanted bigger windows. We always wanted this room where we're sitting to be incorporated. And I think this is now, continues to be our favorite part of the house, but it's incredibly more favorite part of the house now because it's so open.
So Luis likes to cook. And so for him, it was very important to have a nice kitchen, big open kitchen, like he was saying. For me, it was more important to have a nice master bathroom and to change my bedroom and actually make it more clean and modern. So we started originally with the bathrooms and the kitchen mostly, and maybe the bigger windows. And then actually with George of FineCraft, he recommended different things, like the mantle for the fireplaces. It was combined work together, us and the architect and George. So little by little, actually, the project was expanded, became bigger. And in that sense, George was essential in terms of being flexible so that we can make all the changes we wanted, and also in giving us very good ideas.
I think what we really liked about FineCraft, and I think FineCraft is personified in George, but the whole team of FineCraft, was the attention to detail. I think they have that in their brochure, but they proved to us that they're extremely detail-oriented, sometimes to the degree we say, George, enough. But I think that was fantastic. You can see it in the house, number one. The fact that George works with architects and is an architect himself helped us with the creativity. We flew with ideas, changed things. Unfortunately, the architect got sick in the middle of the project, so he was absent for the second half of the project. But having George with that background helped quite a bit, and he was able to interpret our ideas, continues to do that. We got a couple of things left over to do, and change some things or adapt to what we wanted. The outside, if you eventually get to see the outside, also a lot of input from him and a lot of creativity from him. I think attention to detail, flexibility, enormous flexibility. I mean, we're sitting here still in the pandemic, and he was able to work through some of the issues. It delayed things, but it delayed things because the pandemic delayed things. But we're working through the issues of the pandemic. And very personable, and the team is very professional. The guys that were here, very respectful. We never had any issue with the team here. I think all in all, we're very, very satisfied, and I think whomever is watching this and thinking about doing something with FineCraft, man, you're in good hands, and you will have what you want. This house, one of the cool things about this house, we're in a neighborhood of a lot of beautiful, enormous McMansions. And what we have of people knocking on the door and saying, you have a gorgeous house, very modern looking, but you kept the spirit of the old house. So many people have knocked on the doors for that.
So, you know, one of the things that we actually like about the house is that, the remodel house, is that now with my kids, my grown-up kids, living here with us. We have enough space, everything is open, but actually as well, this area, the area of the kitchen, sometimes, we can have happy hours in the afternoon, or we can have breakfast also in the morning. So it's become an area very inclusive in the sense that we can be watching, on a Sunday, a football game in the family room, but also we can be also cooking and eating and drinking.
Just to give you an idea, this was a wall with 2 little windows. So these 2 rooms were separate. This integration, this was already our favorite space, but this integration has made it even much more livable. We can live here 99% of the time.
Another area that we start using much more was in the entrance, the living room, like the formal living room. We never used to go there unless we had like formal guests. And now the way the windows are bigger, we just sit there, it's comfortable and it's nice, and we can actually see. We open that up as well. We can see, we don't have some columns there at the end of the room, so we can see his office, and it's just like nicer, and
The whole first floor is integrated. The whole first floor is integrated, and it's a big first floor. It's all integrated, and we have a bar on one side, we have the living room, we have this area, all first floor is integrated. So how has that changed? I mean, we hang out in the living room. For 20 years, we must have used that living room 5 times. Since we've been here in August, we must have used it almost every day. I sit there for coffee, and we still like this space better.
I do want to thank FineCraft for helping us realize our dream in remodeling our house. The team is amazing. I also want to thank our architect, and I also had counseling from an interior designer. So we want to thank everyone, especially FineCraft.